Today, we're going to be reviewing the Anker SOLIX F2000 for one main reason. It might possibly be the most well-rounded power station available today. We'll stack it up against all three of these main ways that everybody uses a power station and see how it measures up. We got a lot to get to, so let's get started. So to start off, because I do think this is really important, is I did reach out to Anker because I was really interested in their product lineup. And then when looking at this particular unit, it was very well rounded. And so I was really interested in it. So needless to say, they did send this to me, but I do want to get into breaking down why I think this really excels well in the three main categories that everybody uses power stations. Number one, using them for recreational use. Number two, having them as a home backup. And then three, having a portable power solution, something that you can move around really easy. And that's where I think that this fits in. But then you combine that with the really low prices that we're seeing for the pre-Black Friday sale, it makes it really compelling. So definitely check out those links down below. Now to start off, we have four main stats that are going to kind of lead the charge through these different categories as they unpacked. Number one is going to be the output, 2400 watts. It's a very healthy inverter size. You can run a lot of things off of 2400 watts. Pretty much anything you want to plug into a wall outlet, this can do more than that. As far as capacity, runtime has 2048 watt hours. So that's like 1.6 batteries of the 100 amp hour battery that we're all kind of used to. It does have the ability to have an expansion pack, so you can double that. It's like having more than three 100 amp hour batteries, which that's the size system that we ran with for quite a while. The third one is it is lithium batteries in there, so it's going to give you a really long lifespan. You're going to be able to use this for every day for 10 years. It's going to last you a good long while, and the solar input is up to 1,000 watts. So just with those first specs there, this is a very capable unit. So the first one that's going to be the easiest to flesh out is the point of use power. This is a category that I don't think a ton of people think about all the time, but it really can make a difference when you're picking the size unit that you want. Sometimes you can get a unit that's just so big and extremely capable because it can produce a massive amount of power, but you can't move it around as easy. It's not as portable. You're not going to use it in remote locations. Or you get something that's just really portable and small, but it's not powerful enough or have enough capacity to actually do anything of substance once you actually get that power out there. So this fits that niche really well. A couple of things really obvious right off the top. You obviously can see that it has wheels over here, so wheeling it around is very easy, and it does have a handle here at the top. And I will say, putting the handle at the top is kind of genius. We've often seen where we have handles at the bottom. We even had a generator that it was at the bottom, and it just wasn't as convenient as having it here at the top. So great design and engineering putting the handle at the top. Might sound really simple and insignificant, but it does make a difference. So between that combination of the handle and the wheels, this thing is really easy to be able to move around, roll around on rollable type of surfaces. Now, when you need to take it beyond where you can roll it, that threshold is really different for everybody. This is 67 pounds, and for me, it's easy to carry around. You have the handles on both sides, but oftentimes I end up just hanging it from the one handle and carrying it around when I want to do that. So for me, this is something that fits that niche of where it's going to be powerful and capable enough to do a job, to be able to run power tools out there, and it's not too big of a burden to take it where I need to. So a place that an extension cord isn't going to reach, or I need power tools, it's a little bit farther out, this gives me the ability to do that. You get something with less power, it's going to struggle. You get something that's heavier, and I'm going to struggle. So that's why I think it excels in that range. Now for recreation. So obviously we're RVers. So looking at this from an RVing standpoint, first off, the thing that you're going to notice is you have an RV plug right here. A typical, what we see is a 30 amp plug. So that way, if you have your adapters and you're adapting down a 50 amp RV, or you have a 30 amp RV, you can plug directly into here. So obviously you have two different ways that you can kind of use this power station in an RV. You can either bring it in the RV and plug individual items into it, or you can just plug the whole RV into it. And it's really what you're trying to accomplish at that point. So are you trying to charge up the batteries? Maybe you want to plug in the entire RV. Maybe you want the rest of the electrical plugs inside the RV to be energized so that you can use them while you're in it and not have to plug in each individual thing into this. So that might be a strategy why you're doing that. For us, we have an entire solar setup on the RV that I absolutely love, but this might be something that somebody wants that doesn't want to have to do an entire install, but they still want to have the ability to not have to run a generator to make breakfast in the morning, or have power, be able to watch TV late into the evening and not have to hear a generator or bother other people around you with a generator. So that's where these things really shine. So I don't have the extra battery to go on top, so I just wanted to see what it was like on a typical morning. If you were to plug your RV into it at a campground and you wanted to make breakfast, so I made coffee, I warmed up some frozen muffins in the toaster oven, so I ran one big thing at a time, and that brought me down to 88%. So obviously, you're not going to be running that large of things all the time, but you get the point. You can run large things when you want to, and then you can have the battery backup and the use of power throughout the day when you're just needing small things. That's the other thing about this that I thought was really interesting, because I've never seen this on another power station, are these plugs here. You see some that are normal, these are upside down. You're like, why in the world would they do that? Because if you have some of those things that are like wall warts that you need to plug in, they need to go in opposite directions. Otherwise, you kind of block the other ones. You can have those larger adapters plugged into here and still use it. Yes, you do have your DC stuff here that you can have your phones charging. You can do other things over here, but I actually really kind of like the layout that they have here. The 30 amp, the 4 plugs in different directions. It's a good layout. Now, as far as charging it up, you do have fast charging on here, so if you do need to plug it in, it doesn't take forever to be able to get this thing charged up. You do have 1,000 watts of solar that you can plug into here, so when you're out there RVing off-grid, you can put up to 1,000 watts. I tested it with 400 watts, and it did exactly as I would expect and charged it all the way up. Now, I have reviewed a lot of off-grid solutions, and I will say something about this one is it is the most quiet that I've ever used. The Anker products are kind of known for being the quiet power solution. Let me show you what I mean. Usually when you plug in something that's going to have a decent draw to it, you're going to have a lot of fans in here kicking on and making a fair amount of noise if you're bringing it inside. I chose this because it is quiet. You can't use a hairdryer and try and hear this thing, but you can see it's drawing. Usually when you have something like this that's going to draw a decent amount of power, those fans are going to kick on. And it's silent. So if you're using this inside to watch TV or do something simple, you're not having to try and listen above a fan or have something else running. It's going to be fairly quiet is the point. It's the quietest power station I've ever used. So watching TV or using it for a CPAP at night, you're not going to be battling the sound of the fan kind of cycling on and off. You kind of know what you're getting. The home backup solution is really why I kind of started looking at Anker again. I've always known that they were there, but looking into them again, we had friends that were looking at the simplest and budget-friendly option to be able to run their well at their house when the power goes out. When the lightning strikes and the power goes out and you are on a well, you don't get to flush your toilets anymore. So they do have I think it's the F3800. It has split phase 240 out and it would run their well. So that's what got me thinking about Anker again. Now this one, you're not gonna be able to run a well because it's not gonna do 240. You're not gonna be able to do those 240 functions, but when you need to plug in a freezer or a fridge or be able to run the microwave or charge your phone or be able to plug in and charge some other devices, this thing is going to come in really well. And one thing that I'll say about home backup systems is if you don't kind of monitor them and check on them a couple of times a year, you might actually not have them available when you go to use them. So having something that's going to be a crossover where you're going to be using it for recreation, so you're out there, you're using it, it's getting charged up, you bring it back home, it gets charged again, it gets cycled when you're using it, you're going to have a better chance of having a home backup that you can actually rely on rather than one that you buy, you charge it up, you stick in the corner, you forget about it for a year and a half or 2 years, then you go to use it and you realize it's not charged up all the way. So this one actually kind of fits a really nice niche of being able to have something that you can use, you're probably going to use it. When you're using it and you're done, you're going to plug it in, charge it up, and then put it away. So it's going to be available for you. So for me as a home backup, this may not be the whole home backup that you might want, but this could definitely be, hey, the power just went out, let's get some things charging, let's get some things working. It's very capable for that. Now, there's a few other things to take note of this unit, but with the sales that are going on right now, it is a crazy low price. So links are going to be down in the description. Definitely check those out. If you're looking for a power station that's going to give you point of use, give you something for the RV, and give you home backup, it's definitely worth a consideration. So links are going to be down in the description. Check that out. If I had to give this one an award, it would be maximum flexibility. 3 uses in 1 unit. So that's my review and my thoughts of the F2000, how I think it fits in for RVing. So hope this video helped you out in some way, gave you the information, taking a look at this for how it fits that niche. So as always, hope you guys enjoyed this. And if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we'll see you next video. Take care.